And we're live. Good evening, everybody. We are raging with Russell, the love muscle, Allen. What the heck is that about? We have to find out because my life depends on it. It really does. This is episode 69. And
69.
so if you are tuning in from YouTube, thank you very much. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. We are simulcasting to Geek Insider as well as RAGIN AVC. We are also on Twitter. But if you want to leave comments and stuff, make sure that you head over to our YouTube channel and interact. We are live streaming right now and having a lot of fun. We're going to be talking about Stefpool Circle of Destruction as well as Xenonanite Titan with Russell, the love muscle, Allen. We'll be right back after this.
Raging.
Ancient. Titan.
Yo ho ho, and an hour of fun. We are live streaming. That's right. We are raging with Russell Allen. We're going to be talking about his creative journey, what's going on with Stefpool's Circle of Destruction, as well as Xenonanite Titan, and perhaps comic books for kids. Lots of stuff to talk about. Let me drop the card here and say hello, and we're going to pop you over here into the hot seat. Hey, Russell.
Hey.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? Well, this is not the first time that you've been in the hot seat with us. We are
No,
waiting
it's
to
not.
see if Nita shows up. I don't know where she is. Nita, where are
She
you?
got abducted by monkey butt.
I guess so. I hate when that happens. I really
man,
do.
You gotta watch out for monkey butt. I'm crazy.
Russell Allen, what the heck is
Who?
going on? How have you been?
Oh, not too bad. Hanging in there, you know.
Mhm.
It's been a real rough patch.
Yeah.
Especially the last couple of months, but I'm surviving. I'm making it through. I might be going in for spine surgery soon. I'll find out Wednesday. So
Is that a
hopefully
good
that'll
thing
put
or a
things.
bad thing?
That's a good thing and a bad thing, both.
Mhm.
It's a good thing because I can't hardly walk anymore. It's a bad thing, just
Because
I'm
it's your
having to
back.
miss 12 weeks of work.
Oh God.
So
Eek. That's really tough.
yeah, but the thing is I've been dealing with like severe pain. I'm on like a butt ton of medicine, so
Mhm.
that really clouds my mind. I mean, the shows have kind of declined a little bit because at night, after working all day and getting home, like
Mhm.
I get like I just don't know what I'm trying to say,
Plus, you're
and
on your
it's not
ass all day,
me.
right? You're driving?
Yeah, I drive. So I
Yeah.
drive like 12, 13, 14 hours. And then I'm going in and out, climbing up and down, going, pulling the hose in, filling tanks. I deliver oil at my full-time job. I usually work, 50, 60 hours a week.
Mhm.
And so that bouncing around just doesn't help at all. So by the time I
No.
get home, I'm just like mentally drained from trying to block out the pain and then the
Mhm.
medications. And it drives me nuts because I'm like always quick. I'm on top of things. And so now I'm like, what word am I trying to think of in the
Right.
last
Yeah,
10
it's just
minutes?
like,
And I'm
I'm
like, whatever.
doing
We'll just
something.
move on.
It's
It
like
happens, right?
those lost moments of time where you're just sitting there staring off into space and you realize you've been drooling on yourself for a little while. I hate when that happens.
I hate when that happens. I'm
I
telling
do.
you.
I do. So I mean, working a 50, 60-hour week, that is terrible. I've been there. I know what that's like and it feels like you're working, 25/8, And so the creative journey, though, I mean, we've talked about this before with your book, Xenonanite
Yeah.
Titan, that this has been kind of a passion project that you've had for a while. And
Yep.
so, and now you've got Stefpool's Circle of Destruction,
That's
which
right.
is like, what the hell is that about? But I mean, like, really, what kind of got you going? What prompted you to say, on top of everything else, plus what life is throwing at me, your son, your family, your own health issues and stuff like that, that I have time for this stuff? I mean, like, what motivates you to put that extra effort in?
Just the adversity. I've always been a person that I do no matter what. I come home from work, no matter if I'm tired or what, if there's something around the house that needs to be done, I do it.
Hmm.
And so I'm constantly always just like, this needs to be done, I'm going to do it. And, last year, what pushed me to do it was the fact that I thought that was going to be the last thing that I was going to do. And I wanted to
Mm,
go out with a bang and know that I completed the one thing that I always wanted to do. Because, you hear the old adage, everyone lives and everyone dies, but not everyone that dies truly lived. And,
right.
that's kind of the thing of this is the dream that I had. I wanted this book to be published. I had book 2 and 3. I told my wife, I was like, here's the unedited version since book 1 was totally rewritten. I'm like, but if something happens to me, here's the rest of it. So you can get it in the hands of somebody that can take care of it and get the rest of the book out there. And at
Hmm.
least, just share it on the internet or whatever so everyone can finish the book.
Hmm.
But that's kind of what pushed me to do it. I'm like, what do I regret the most in life? And I always wanted to write. That's what I always wanted to do. I didn't want to work a 25/8 like you put it. I wanted to create. I wanted to inspire others. I wanted others to, uh, this is my way of dealing with things, and I wanted people to read the book and get out of their mind so they can deal with their things. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. I'm lifting everything off of my life into the book, and then they're getting out of their life reading the book.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, pretty awesome. It's one of those things that a lot of people say, I write because I have to. I write because I just have to get these ideas out. A lot of people do those things because they want to leave something behind. And, a lot of people think that's morbid to kind of plan ahead like that in the event that you are no longer present. I don't find that to be morbid or sad at all. I think that's good planning.
well, I mean, the thing is, I'm putting this book out there, and who wants to read book 1 and never get to finish the story?
Right.
It's another old adage, hope for the best, plan for the worst. There's nothing morbid about that. If you finish something, you say, hey, in case something happens, here's this. That's not being morbid. That's just saying, hey, I know there is a chance.
Hmm.
Because I mean,
There's
here's
a
the thing: the
certain
hospitals.
reality that we deal with.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. In March, the hospitals closed down. So everything happened at the end of January was when they found out that I had significant evidence of malignancy. They wanted to wait and see if it grew because it was in such a bad place. They were worried about it metastasizing into my lung or my stomach or
Hmm.
into my spine. And so it was one of those things like, they waited, and then March, the car accident happened when the lady hit me.
Yeah. Wow.
Really? I got seagulls in my room. so, so I was like, and then in March, I had the car accident happen, and then the hospital shut down. They're like, hey, you may or may not have cancer. We don't know. When we open back up, we'll let you know. So I'm like, what the hell? I don't know one way or the other. So I
Wow, that's
just went
insane.
with, I'm gonna plan for the worst and hope for the best. So
Hmm.
I went through and I started working on book 2 and 3 to try to get them trimmed up and fixed, because I made a bunch of changes in book 1 to make it more uh, relatable. Now that I have kids, I wrote this before I had kids. Now that I have kids, the interaction between Raziel and his kids is more relatable. It's more realistic because it's how my kids and I uh, interact with each other.
Hmm.
And so it was just, one of those things. Hey, if something happens, here's the books. Wendy, all these people, get it in the hands of somebody that can put it out there because it wasn't about being morbid. It was about actually something happy of knowing that my story's being left behind. I got to tell it before something happened.
Right. Now, tell me about your writing process because you said, I mean, book one is fairly hefty. I'm sure book two and three will be too. The writing process as far as like, are you a pantser where you just write the next word that's in front of you? Do you outline it? I mean, what is your writing process as far as that
My
goes?
writing process is brain to paper, and
Hmm.
I just roll. Uh, I have a really weird process. You want to know what my process is? I get home from work, I eat dinner, I get a shower, I sit in my chair, and I listen to music for about a half an hour, 45 minutes. I spin around, I'll doodle a little, I'll Google some, and that's just kind of like my getting prepared to write mode. And then I open the file up and I fire it up and I go. Uh, that doesn't always happen though. So one of the things that people, what's going on, Rodney and Tina? Yeah, that's
As
right, the love muscles. So that's where the love muscle came from. We'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah.
my writing process is just, I sit there, I get in the mood, and when I write, I write. I'll like fly, and it just, comes out of my brain straight to the paper. Like I
Mhm.
know where I want to be, and I know where I want to go, and I'm not somebody that can skip around. I have to go right from where I'm at. So if I get home and I'm like in a bad mood, and I need to write a happy piece, I'm not writing tonight. If I need to write something sad and I'm in a happy mood, I'm not writing tonight. If I come home and I've had a shitty day at work and I'm like, man, I got this sad piece to write. This is perfect. I'm already upset. It's going to be more realistic. So I try to write the moods while I'm in the mood. That way the piece is more relatable, the emotion is there, and it has more meaning to it. I just can't see myself writing something else that I can't convey at that moment.
Right. That must make it difficult though, because I mean, we don't get into our moods in in a linear fashion. So when it
No,
comes
we
to writing
don't.
certain right. So I mean, like, do you think of like different scenes based on that emotion? And then how do you kind of organize those thoughts?
Well, I don't know. I jump in. I mean, sometimes I can get into that mood. I mean, it's one of those things like some days you just can't get in that mood, but some days,
Hmm.
that's why I have that 45-minute process. So if I need to be in a happy mood and I'm tired, I go get a shower. It warms me up. It makes me comfortable. I sit down. I put some music on. It amps me up, and I put on like dubstep or like Tech Nine radio on Pandora, and I jam out, and it fills you with energy, and
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to do this. So I can go from a sad to a happy piece. It was just there was a few roadblocks there where I had pieces that were like really, really emotional. And I'm like, I can't be in a good mood for that. So that's when you put like on like Enya or something that brings you down and makes you really sad and
Hmm.
droopy. And then that's why I listen to music while I write. I can usually adjust my mood depending on what I'm listening to.
Hmm.
So
So
that
when
really helps.
when you're done writing the piece and it's kind of emotional, how do you get out of it then? Because a lot of times I know when I'm writing something that's particularly dark, I'm in a dark place for a little while, so it takes me a bit to kind of get out of that, and it's not anybody else's fault but my imagination, but I don't want to
Yeah.
take it out on anybody. So how do you
Yeah.
do you use music as the same way to get out of those moods and say, okay,
Sometimes
writing's done?
Sometimes I do. Something that I can pull a lot of emotion from is the times that I've sat in the room for 12 hours waiting to get that phone call if my son made it through open heart surgery. Or, um, there's the moment before his first open heart surgery at a week old that they told us they couldn't do the surgery because he had bleeding on the brain. So that was a huge blow to us. We're like, why? And they're like, we don't know. It's in a really weird place. So, I try to look back on, kind of like what they teach you in drama class. I took 2 years of drama and theater, and that's where part of where I picked up doing different voices and stuff like that, and portraying different characters and being in different moods. But that was one of the things they taught us in theater and drama is if you need to be in a sad mood, like you see people in cinema, they cry. And people are like, how can you cry on demand? Well, you pull from your deepest, darkest, moment that you go back and look on and you could this sadness just overwhelms you. And sometimes you can't get out of that mood. I mean, no happy music can bring you out of that because once you go back to that place, you're there And so you write that piece, you finish it out, and you're like, all right, I'm done for tonight. We'll continue on. I'll end the chapter there. Usually that's where I try to keep that stuff because I want people to get to the end of the chapter and be like, all right, one more chapter. I got to find out what happens. And then you go to the next chapter and you're like, you asshole. You went to a totally different person on something totally different. And now I got to read this whole chapter, figure out what happens here, and then go back to where the story goes on again. And so that's what I loved about Brian Jakes. He was like one of my biggest inspirations. I love the Redwall series. I loved Mossflower. And, I'm super excited because they're making Martin the Warrior, the movie. I'm excited and scared at the same time. I hope they don't mess it up. But that's how he wrote. It was one of those things where I'd be like, all right, one more chapter. And then the next thing you know, it'd be 3 o'clock in the morning. And I finished the book.
And you're like,
And I'm like,
damn
oh,
it, I
shit.
got to go to work soon.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, shit, I got to be at work at, 7 o'clock. That was back in the day when, I was in college and, it was like I worked part
Yeah, you
time
had
on
the
the weekends.
energy.
I would go
You could
home.
work on like a Red Bull and 2 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I'm like, I only got 7 hours of sleep. I'm dead to the world. So
Yes.
that's kind of, how I like to write, and it works perfect because, like I said, I end the chapters usually with that. I don't start them out because, I lead up to something bleak and, it makes it ominous, wondering what's going to happen in the next chapter. And
Mhm.
that's kind of what I followed with. I love the way he wrote, and that's the way I write. And it's just, let's go along for this journey and figure out what happens to this character. And you're going to get pissed off a few times because you have to read a few more chapters than you wanted to, and you might finish the book at 3 o'clock in the morning. But, going back to your question, I usually just stop writing. I mean,
Mhm.
it's hard to get out of that place.
Yeah. So when you said that you've written like 2 and 3 already, all right,
Hmm.
and you've got a Kickstarter, and we'll be talking about Stefpool pretty soon.
Hmm.
Um, just because those things are happening, plus life stuff, plus work stuff, that doesn't mean the creativity stops either.
No.
Beyond Stefpool, beyond Xenonanite Titan 2 and 3, what else are you working on?
So I'm also working on, I wrote I think, I don't remember if it's going to be 4 or 5 pages. I wrote a story for Luna Tales, the anthology with Wendy Steen Shaner. So I do have a story in that's going to be releasing in the spring. It's a children's book. I'm super excited about it because the piece that I wrote is absolutely beautiful. And April Grady Reyna did the art for it, and it's
Oh,
just
wonderful.
astounding. And so I wrote the story for that. It's called Luna Eclipse, and it's just an inspirational story. What I like to do is, teach people not to give up. That's what Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart's all about. Is no matter what's going on in your life, no matter, everybody makes excuses that they don't have time. I work a 50, 60 hour a week job. I run 3 shows a week. I do Sundays and Tuesdays, and Saturdays I do Blastcast. And, then on top of that, I'm a full-time father and a husband, and I have house duties to do. And then I create on the outside. And so um, the creativity doesn't stop flowing. I mow the grass. I'm thinking about what do I do with this scene in the book. I don't like it where it's at, and then I'll forget about it. And then like an hour later, as I'm out there weeding, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Or I'll have a breakthrough. Like this is me. I'm driving down the road. I'm going down 270, and I'm just all of a sudden this thought pops in my head. How funny would that be if I did Steph Pool pointing at Philip Russert's face, going, now that's a tragedy. So I get to my next stop and I message Phil. I'm like, dude, I got this idea for a button for a crossover, and this is what it is. And before he even said yes, they were already printed. And I had pictures of them and I sent it over to him. And he's like, dude, how the hell did you get that so fast? I was like, oh, I already did the art for it while I was at the stop and sent it over because I knew you'd be cool with it. And he's like, it is. It's hilarious. I love it.
Mhm.
That's just me. Like I don't somewhere in my brain there's like another entity that's just constantly creating, and then every once in a while it just sticks it in my brain. It's like, hey, I need to tell you about this, and then
Right.
I'm like, oh, the light bulb goes off, and I get all excited. But that's me. That part of the driving job is I have a lot of on the road time, so that's
Yes.
my time to think about stuff if I'm stuck on something. And then you just get like you think about it subconsciously, and then light bulbs go off all of a sudden. I get all excited, and people on the road are probably like, "Dude, what's that dude smiling about?"
Right. Or laughing or talking to himself or whatever, working out
Yeah,
dialogue and
I mean, I
stuff.
do it all the time. At least if I talk with myself, I'm always right.
Right. Now, do you use a recorder when you're driving? Because obviously, when those ideas pop into your head, it is not realistic to keep pulling over to write those ideas. So, like, I know for me, I have no memory to do that. Like, I'll have a great piece of dialogue, I have to stop and record it somehow, whether I write it down because I always have a notebook with me, and I haven't
Now,
quite figured out how to use the recorder on my phone. So,
yeah, no,
what do you
I've
do?
never recorded it or wrote it down. But now with, the stuff that's going on and me having like memory issues and stuff like that, from the medication and just, getting home at the end of the day, I'm like, who am I? And so now I do kind of take little notes here and there, but for the most part, no, once I come up with what I'm needing to think of, it's like stuck. It's like ingrained in my brain. That's all I think about all day. It's like go home and get it wrote down. And that's the most exciting part, is when you're stuck on this part in the book and you've been stuck there for 4 or 5 days. And then you're like, I gotta get this out of my brain. You get home and you're like, and you're like, all right, boom, chapter's done. I love it. It's perfect. And you move on.
I love
So
that.
that's
Yeah, I love that. So what happens when you get stuck though? I mean, like stuck. Because I've been there. Okay. There was a particular chapter that I was working on, suffered through it for like 3 weeks, tried to write it 5, 10 different ways, and I just kept on getting stuck. And then it was like overnight for me. I woke up and it must have been like future Nita in my head because it said, you don't need it. And I swear to God, I cut out like 10 pages and it started to flow again. Uh, does that happen to you? Like, what happens when you get stuck?
when I get stuck, I just let it go. When I get stuck on things, I try not to dwell on it because if I dwell on it, I'll never get past it. I will just sit there and I'll simmer on it forever, and then I just get pissed off, and I'm just like whatever, and I just want to throw the project down. So, uh, from previous books that I've written that are unpublished, I may publish them later on. One of them's called "Taking Steps in the Walk of Life," and it's just one of those things. I'll just put it down, and the next day I'll come home, I'll play a video game, with my son on the PS4, or I'll watch a movie, and I just get it out of my brain. I'm like, all right, I need to change direction, I need to do something else, and let my brain rest from writing, and I just let it come naturally. All of a sudden, it's one of those things. It's weird. I get these subconscious thoughts that just come out. I haven't even thought about it in days, but this idea just pops in my head. I'm like, that's great. And then the next night or that night, I'll go downstairs and I'll start writing again. I don't really have a formula to get unstuck. It's just, let's do something else. I'll read somebody else's story, or I'll watch a movie, play a video game, just basically do something other than write to break the cycle.
Yeah, keep the brain going, the creativity
Yeah.
flows. And it doesn't have to be the one thing because sometimes you just need that break away from it. So,
Yep.
the thing that I wanted to ask you before we take a break too, is team building. Now, you mentioned Wendy Steen Shaner that you're working on a project with her, that you were able to get April Grady Reyna to do the art, which is amazing. Kind of, I guess, collaborating with Steph Wilson, and I see you all the time on on your social media, on your shows and things like that, and you're just cutting loose with a whole bunch of other creators. But when it comes to building our own teams, all right, this is a common theme in our show. Nita and I have kissed a lot of frogs before we got to our princes, and it's kind of a difficult journey to find that core group of people that you can work with consistently. What has that been like for you as far as building a team and that core group of people who have your back no matter what?
Well, I mean, part of it is Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart, doing the podcast with several different creators. People that have been hardcore since the start, James Smithers and Thomas Bishop and Joshua Main, Wendy Steen Shaner, all these people have been super supportive of me. Team building came easy because, you know, I, I'm, I, it's hard to explain. So I am not light with, sharing things that are going on, and I don't do it to just sit there and sit on a soapbox and be like, oh, my life is so terrible. But I want people to see what happens behind the scenes. Things aren't always on the up and up for me. I want to be straightforward and honest. That's me. I'm a straightforward person. You ask me a question, I'm gonna give you the answer, whether it's good or bad. You can always expect an honest answer from me. And so, from the start, I've been real vocal about, hey, this is going on. I'm trying to get this book out, and the people came. They were supportive. And they were like, when I had bad days, they messaged me and said, how are things going? I hope you have a good day. Hugs. That's how I knew this is my team that I want, because these people were there. They cared about me and how I was doing. When I wasn't on social media for a few days, they would reach out and ask. And it's the people that, you only hear from when they have a project going on. They're like, hey, can I be on your show? And then they disappear. Those are the people that you're like, they're not my team. But the other people I'm constantly in contact with, with Wendy and stuff, and James Smithers and all these other fans of the show. We're constantly in contact. We're talking to each other. Hey, how are things going? What's going on? And we're down for life. We're best buds. Like Steph. I hung out with him last weekend. We went up and stayed with him, and we went and toured uh, Cape Cod and all that fun stuff in West Barnstable. And they're great people. And I don't know. That's just it. Just kind of everybody just kind of gathered around me, and they've been there from the start, and they've stayed there. And like you guys, Meredith, we met up and we've done a few shows. Hell, the show that you and I did, what was it, like almost 5 hours? I'm like
Oh
pointing,
my
and you're like,
God.
what? And I was like, hey, look, and you're like, holy shit, it's after midnight. It just like the hours flew by, and so
Yeah, I
we
think we
have a
were
good
getting
time.
stupid towards the end. It was just like, yeah, I think it's time to go.
Yeah. Oh my God. We had a good time. But that's how you know that that's a team person, because we chatted for 4.5 hours. We didn't have to sit there and go, and try to think of things to talk about. Our minds clicked. We get along. We support each other. You guys are super supportive. I'm sharing your stuff. You're sharing my stuff. And we share other creators. And that's how you know who your team is. Just people that you can talk to and not have to think of things to say.
As far as your creative journey, we're going to take a break in a couple minutes. Stefpool, where the heck did that come from?
So Steph Wilson started You Can Draw on Thursdays, and the very first thing that he drew was Deadpool. Well, I decided, since we're snarky to each other, him and Ruben, are always duking it out, and him and I are always duking it out on Facebook, and people are probably like, these guys hate each other, but we always talk shit to each other. It's our way of keeping in touch when we don't chat through Messenger and say we haven't talked in a week. I'll go on Steph's page and just post a meme, something funny about him, and then he'll fire back a few days later. And so I was like, we're always snarky to each other, and so Stefpool was invented. I changed his eyes from ovals to circles, and then I added in Jesse Witchman, and because Steph and Jesse were always going at it. And the very first piece I drew was Stefpool blowing up Jesse Witchman's bathroom at Wild Room Studios, and so it just kind of grew from there. Everybody thought it was hilarious, and my art was terrible, and it still is. And so, it grew from there. People, looked forward to Stefpool. They're like, every week we would do a new character. Like, we did Critter. Here's my Critter in Stefpool. And then we
Oh, hold on a
did,
second. Let me put that up on the big screen.
so we
And
did Critter and Stefpool. And instead of, the director, I can't think of his name on Spider-Man, I put Tom Hutchison because it's his character, Critter. And so instead of Spider-Man looking in through the window, it's Critter. And he's like, oh, don't worry, I have a piece for Saturday's paper, or should I say Catterday? And it was just Tom Hutchison telling him to stay away from Critter because it was a legit thing. And then we did Marvin the Martian.
oh, here we go.
And, so there's Marvin the Martian in Stefpool. He's delivering edits. I think this is the one with, okay, so that's my art for the Scepter Brute from Xenonanite Titan. So then you have, oh yeah, the other way. So then you have, Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote's looking in the distance, and there's Stefpool with a rocket launcher blowing him up. You know, so every week here's Rocco's Modern Life. This one was really
Oh,
funny.
here we go.
And you know, he's like, get yourself some Sony and upgrade to Blu-ray, and it's a Samsung DVD player because Jesse Witchman was having issues with Samsung. So, you know, it was a
Hey,
pertinent
Russell,
joke to
that's not
something that
half
was.
bad, dude.
That is actually really good.
I love Rocco.
Thank you. So, you know, my art grew as I've been doing this. I mean, that's the whole thing with You Can Draw. You know, he's trying to teach kids how to draw, and, you know, the inner kid in me is learning how to draw. So, Stefpool became a thing. People looked forward to it. And I love card games. We play Unstable Unicorns, Exploding Kittens, Melbournes, anything you can think of, you know, Uno, Skippo, all that stuff. I love card games. And so we were sitting down one night playing Unstable Unicorns with a group of friends, and I was like, oh, I'm going to, you know, make this card about you. I'm going to make you Queen Panda Mad May because I always turn her into pandas, and she fucking hates it. She gets so mad. She's like, every game, you turn me into pandas, and I hate it. And so, you know, so I made a card on that. And then I gotta tell this story. So one of my friends lost a butt plug. And so it's this funny story. We get back from our vacation and they're like, hey, how was your guys' vacation? I'm like,
Did you
hey,
say butt plug?
That is
I
what
absolutely
he
said
That is absolutely
butt
what
plug.
he said. Whoa.
Oh my God. So we get back from vacation and they're like, how was your guys' weekend? And we're like, oh, it was great. And then we were like, how was your weekend? And like, oh, we went to the ER. I was like, oh my God, what happened? They're like, oh, we lost a butt plug. And I was like, what? I'm like, how embarrassing is that? So that's a card. You know, I was like, oh, I'm going to make this a card in the game. Well, then the other Megan was talking about anal bleaching, and like out of nowhere. She was talking about how she had to go to the dentist, right? So she's like, hey, have you guys ever heard about anal bleaching? I'm like, what kind of fucking dentist are you going to? Like, you're getting your teeth whitened and you're getting your asshole bleached? I'm like, what is this, a full service dentist? And so I just went on with it. I was like, I got it. You know, when I stop a move in Stefpool Circle of Destruction, it's going to be anal bleach. Your move got bleached. And then if you can top that, you got the mega anal bleach. You can top that card. I was like, and then the final card that's unstoppable is the cavernous anal bleaching. It's like a 55-gallon drum of anal bleach for that one person that just needs that super cleaning done. And so, you know, it just, the jokes kept going on. I started talking to customers at work about it when I was going to need
We lost Nita.
I lost her. And so, like, I started telling customers about this, and they're dying laughing. They're just like, this is fucking hilarious. You got to do this game. And so then I was telling, you know, Jack about it. I was telling Smithers, and I was talking about it on the show. And everybody's like, you should do this game. It would be hilarious. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to make a safe version and a not safe for work version so people can have fun. And so I got to thinking, I'm like, what can I do with it? And I was like, you know what? I can include creator IP. So I messaged Chuck and Sean because I know they're just dirty minded. And I was like, hey, can I use Belial? And they're like, absolutely. So I took a scene from issue 2 where Link traps somebody in the porta shitter. And I literally made it an outhouse. Well, in the not safe for work version, it's the glory hole shitter of doom. And so it's got all these holes in it. You got all these little dicks hanging out of it and stuff. And it's hilarious. So, you know, you have the good version you can play with 8 years and up. And then you have the adult version where you can just be as old as you want to be and, you know, just be downright gross. Because that's what we do when we get together. That's why it's called the Dirty Minds Club.
See, and people think gross is just like totally juvenile, but no, it's us adults.
Yeah, and so
That's
and thus
awesome.
Stefpool Circle of Destruction was born. I was like, hey, I got this game. And I'm like, you know what, put your money where your mouth is. So I launched it and it funded in 1 second. I got the email that I launched the project and that it funded at the same time. And so I was like, I guess people weren't lying. They really liked the idea of this game. So
That's
now I have
awesome.
40 plus creators. I got artists. I've got, you know, IPs. We're using Belial. We're using
We've got
man, I have
Cade
total brain.
from Greed.
Cade from
Yep.
Greed, yep. And then I got Naughty Fairies, and oh my God, I'm having one of those moments tonight.
Let's
I
see,
got there's a shit ton. Well, I mean, it's on the Kickstarter. You guys can go check out the list of all the
Yep,
creators that I've
yeah,
got.
I'm looking at
And
the
there's a lot more
list.
than
You've
that
got the
now.
Nebulizer, you've got Belial, you've
Yep.
got some Raina
Yep.
art, Naughty Fairies, of course, Steph Wilson, and Wilson the Cat. CB Zane's got something in there.
CB Zane's got several cards. CB Zane's going to be King CB Kong is what it's called. So it's CB Kong. he has a bad habit of knocking his tripod over while we're live, and so we go spinning like we're on an arcade. So he's gonna be CB Kong, and he's gonna be knocking over the tripod. That's gonna be a card. It's gonna be him destroying one of your weapons. And that's the goal of the game. You're trying to amass 7 weapons of destruction. There's some funny shit. There's a butt plug launcher and all kinds of stuff. And not safe.
I mean, this might be like lame comparatively, but Nita's got this great like idea of like, because we were talking about exercise, right, and core muscles and things like that, and we were working on our Kegels.
No,
right?
no,
yes,
Shut
yes.
your fucking face.
I'm totally saying it. He said.
She muted you.
You're not telling anybody this story. No, I will not.
Oh, you have to tell this story, Nita. Come on.
No, no.
I will.
No.
I will. You can go off camera. Go
I
away.
am. I'm
Go.
leaving.
She's like, I'm leaving.
So we were talking about Kegels and stuff like that because I'm like core muscles and all that stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, it's supposed to be good for you. And so we're talking about the weighted eggs, right? And she said, I'm gonna get a 30-pound one, and I'm gonna go walk it. And if that shit falls out, she's like, I'm just gonna keep walking. It's not even mine. I'm like, what kind of muscles do you have to have like a 35-pound leg? Oh my god!
I will never tell you anything again, ever. I'd be like,
it's hilarious, Nita.
I would be like the motherfucking Easter bunny walking through Walmart.
She needs
dropping
a card.
my eggs.
Russ,
I can just imagine some kid picking up, Mom, this egg smells good.
Not mine.
This is fun. Why is that?
It's funny because it's a true story. We had that happen. So we found a place to we found a place to pull off and have a little fun time in the car. Well, then like a half an hour later, we picked her nieces up. And they were like, what kind of scent do you guys have in this car? It smells good in here. And I'm like, all I could think of was the Super Troopers, where he opens up the door and he's like, smells like sex in here. I was like, oh my God. So the best part is 10 years later, they're like 20 years old now. I was like, you remember that time we picked you up and you're like, it smells good in here? We just got done doing the deed, and that's what it smelled like in there. And she's like, oh my God, I'm scarred for life.
That's okay, kid. You're old enough to pay for your own therapy.
Right?
That's right. You're old enough to pay for your own therapy now. So that's why I was like, some kid's gonna pick it up and be like, "Ooh, this smells good, Mom." But it's even funnier. Is I had a girl one time that was talking about the pelvic floor muscle and how that you can use the Kegel balls and stuff to build up the pelvic floor muscle. She's like, "How do you guys?" work their junk out. And I was like, well, you just put a towel on it, you do a few lifting exercises with it, and pick it up. Eventually you work up from a washcloth to a hand towel and then to a full-size towel. And then you got to get the beach towel. And then she's like, well, what do you do from there? I was like, oh, you just wet the beach towel down. It adds like 8 more pounds. You just sit there and you're like, yeah, oh, 1, oh, 2. And I thought she was going to pass out.
I swear to God, I told Mary I want to be ripped. I'd be like lifting 35, 45.
Yeah, I'm going to be ripped. Down. Hey, mine's got a 6-pack.
like with Teeth, that movie Teeth, it's not going to bite it off. When you put that fucker in there, I'm going to snap its neck.
Oh my God, this is far off the deep end. This is great. So this is just my creativity. When people ask stuff, I just come up with shit off the wall, and my wife hates it. She's like, I'm not even talking to you anymore, because that's just me all day, every day. So when you say, how do I get my creative brain flowing? It just is always flowing. I just never turn it off.
Yeah, I desperately need a Nita bunny dropping Kegel balls.
Here comes Nita Bunny.
Make it so.
Dropping eggs on the bunny trail.
Oh, she's gonna.
Mommy, why is this egg vibrating?
I know. Oh my goodness. On that note, you guys, we blew past our half an hour. We got to take a little bit of a break, and we're going to give some love to our good friends over at Catch the Craze. They've got a great show. They also interview a lot of indie creators. Make sure that you give them some love. Nita, do you have that? I'll grab it. I got it.
It's Monty Moore. I'm a 30-year comics veteran in comics, games, and movies, and you've been watching one of my absolute favorite podcasts, Catch the Craze.
You are watching Catch the Craze.
What am I listening to?
And you're listening to Catch the Craze.
Where are all the indies at? A Catch the Craze podcast. What are you watching?
I'm watching Catch the Craze.
What are you going to do?
Subscribe now to Catch the Craze, the #1 show online for independent.
Have you subscribed to?
You are an independent. Catch the craze. Making moves on your own. Catch the craze. On your grind in the streets. Catch the craze. Join the movement. Catch the craze.
This is not the Catch the Craze show. This is Raging with Russell, the Love Muscle, Allen. Episode 69. Make sure that you head over to the YouTube channel and give it a subscribe. And check out the show notes because we've got the link to his Kickstarter, which is Stefpool's Circle of Destruction, as well as his social media links. Make sure that you get over there and follow him everywhere. Just don't peek in his windows because that's weird. And oh my God, I think Russell Allen has left the house and we are back with Stefpool. Oh no! What's up? You're on mute. Dude.
What's going on, everybody? I knocked that fucker out. He can't draw worth a shit. Look at this face. I mean, look upon it. It's so ugly. It's hideous. How did this happen?
We love that hideous
somebody
face. We love that hideous face.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sexy. Schmexy. Now, do tell us about the love muscle. We were talking about that before. We mentioned it. The love muscle. Stefpool, did you have anything to do with that?
No, I don't have anything to do with that. The love muscle, that was a nickname that I had a long time ago. And it was just really funny that Rodney and Tina called me that one day. And that's how I got the nickname Love Muscle. You know, because you got Rodent, which is Rodney. And then you've got Andre, which is, he's nutty. Oh, Andre's in there too. Oh, it's so funny. He's always like, hey, you want to see my nuts? And then he sends you a picture of like peanuts and stuff. And so his is going to be D's nuts in the not safe for work edition. And he's going to like destroy your weapons with his nuts. He's going to be like, teabag. You know, like in Call of Duty when you kill somebody and then you go over to him, you're like, ha, teabag your ass. So.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm dying.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you guys are missing out. If you guys aren't back in this game, it is so much fun. You guys are going to shit your pants with laughter. I mean, I think I may have shit my pants when I was doing that teabag, but hey, you know what? It happens, right? It's all good.
We have our core muscles, right? We got to get those kegels.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to work them core muscles. Get like a 30-pound butt plug or something. Be like, arr, arr.
So tell us about this game. What is the premise of the game? I mean, I know
the premise of the game is, yeah, it's a card game. You got 130 base cards. Actually, we've passed the stretch goal now. There's 135 base cards. Plus, everybody gets 5 free commission cards, which you can take to a con and get commissioned by your favorite artist. Make your own rule card up, your own weapon, whatever you want it to be. And basically, the rules of the game are you deal out 5 cards. You can get cards where you can draw 2 cards a turn. You can get upgrades, like where you can, like I said, draw 2 cards a turn. You can steal other people's weapons, destroy their weapons, trade with somebody. You get all kinds of cool upgrades and downgrades, but the main purpose of the game is to build and amass 7 weapons of mass destruction. But the whole time you're doing this, you got people playing cards on you. Like for the regular game, it's blast cards. And then for the not safe for work edition, you get anal bleached. So your move gets bleached. So if you get anal bleached while you're playing a weapon down, your weapon's gone. You got to throw it in the trash. But if you've got mega anal bleach, you can trump their card and be like, ha, sapsucker, you just got owned. And then somebody breaks out the 55-gallon drum, cavernous anal bleaching, and plays it on you and trumps that. And then you got to throw your weapon away. So you lost all your damn cards. What load of horse shit, if you ask me.
That sounds worse than anal seepage and catastrophic anal failure. So
well, that's when you call in Sean Connery and you get the anal bum cover, and then you don't have to worry about anal seepage. But and then I mean, that's about pretty much the premise. You just keep playing around and try to get those 7 weapons. You steal them from your neighbor, you destroy theirs. You know, it's just all kinds of craziness going on.
Is it for 2 players only? How many players up to?
No, you can play it. You can play it. It's like 2 to 6 players is what it's going to be, and then possibly next year I'm going to do an expansion pack, add some more creator cards in there. So that's the cool thing about these cards. So you're going to have, you got like 30 or 40. Actually, it's over 40 now. Creator IP cards. So like for Belial, when you got Link trapping people in the Port of Shitter. At the very bottom, you got a link to instaink.com where you can go and buy Belial and Belial too. So this is going to be a fun game. Not only you're going to be able to play with your friends, but you're going to be able to share all these glorious creators, meet new creators that you've never heard of before, and you're going to be able to go find their work, support them, watch them as they draw live, and, you know, have fun with it. So it's very exciting. And then something else you can do is you can play well, you can play the birth card on there, and it turns them all into toy dart weapons. So then they can't win. They could have 20 of them, but they're birth guns. It's not Nerf, it's birth. and then, you know, there's another funny one, but we're gonna leave that one for a surprise for y'all. You can change their weapons into something else, and it's pretty funny. But, so, you know, it's still not as funny as the butt plug launcher. I mean, that thing's massive. It's like a rail gun. You just shoot it right up in there. You get a roto-rooter right away. I don't know. I'd hate to see a rapid fire version of that. You'd be plugged up for weeks.
Now, how long did it take you to kind of come up with the rules of the game?
Well, it didn't take very long, actually. You know, I looked around and tried to figure out, you know, how many weapon cards I need for up to 6 players, and you know, you got to think about some of them are going to get trumped. And so I went through and I did some calculations on how many weapon cards I need and how many upgrade, downgrade cards would be a good idea. And I've toyed around with it. I played, you know, in my head, I took and I made digital cards on a app. And then I was just like, you know, shuffling them, playing them out, making sure everything plays good and that you don't get hung up in a game where you're like, oh, shit. You know, there's no way we're going to win this. There's not enough weapons. But it's one of those games that you can play through, and then when you get through the deck and you're out of cards, you just shuffle it, and then you just keep drawing. So, I mean, it's really not that hard. It's going to be a lot of fun, though. You're going to see some of these cards. I mean, you think anal bleaching's bad or the butt plug launcher? Oh, no. It gets way raunchier than that. I mean, even the glory hole Port of Shitter of Doom ain't got nothing on some of these cards. It's raunchy. You guys gonna laugh so hard.
I love the raunchy. So, but there is a safer work version. I'm going to assume that these cards are not for kids anyway.
Well, the safer work version's okay. There's nothing really bad on there. It's kind of like Disney. There's implied things that go on, but kids aren't going to get it. So, I mean, it's for ages 8 and up. I think it would be okay for them. I don't see any cards in the regular version that are really that bad. So I think it'll be all right.
Now,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
You can use your own judgment. You can go through the deck and say your 8-year-old kid's a crackhead, crazy dude like my 6-year-old is, and they run around, they say stuff, and they're just weirdos. Well, then you can be like, I'll wait a year or 2. But I think 8 years old and up's good.
How close to production are you? Like, are the cards done? Have the artists kind of committed and things like that? Where are we as far as production and as far as like delivery and things like that?
Well, I'm looking at a March delivery.
Okay, yeah, March delivery.
So I'm looking at a March delivery right now. I'm hoping to beat that, but I put that down just in case, you know, there's talks of paper shortages and ink shortages and yada, 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 and then, you know, shipping and stuff. So these are going to be printed locally. There's a place in St. Louis that is willing to print them. They're going to print the sheets, send them over, get them UV coated, send them back, and then they're going to get cut to standard poker size cards. And so production shouldn't be too bad. As far as the art goes, I'm about halfway through. So I have a list. And there's still some open spots. So I've still been messaging around. If there's any creator out there that has an IP that says, hey, you know, I want to include this funny joke, like, you know, Nita with the 30-pound butt plug. Or, I'm sorry, a 30-pound Kegel egg. And she's just like dropping it. And it's like, all right, we're adding it. It's Nita Bunny. Hold on. Let me write this down. Nita Bunny.
Oh, she's gonna
I'm
have
sorry,
my ass.
Nita. It's happening. You knew it. Meredith, you're in the doghouse for like 3
I am
weeks for
so
this.
in the doghouse. She's gonna have
She's
my
gonna
ass.
come take that toe of Satan and use it as a butt plug.
We
You're
so
gonna be like,
need to do that.
Oh, speaking of the toe of Satan, my goodness, what were you two thinking?
Well, you see, I'm still waiting on mine to come. So in a few weeks, yeah, we're gonna do the toe of Satan, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of advertising for it. So hold on, let me go get your good friend Russell. I'll bring him back here. I'll be right back.
All right. We're getting Russell Allen back. Stefpool is taking a little bit of a break.
All right, guys, what's going on? So,
Hey,
Stefpool said something about you guys were talking about the toe of Satan. So,
the toe of
I
Satan.
want to tell you a little something about comic books for kids.
Yes, please.
So, it's something that I'm really passionate about. As I said before, my son's had 2 open heart surgeries, and he's benefited from other charities who have donated items that help take away the pain from the kids. So I did the 1 chip challenge a few months ago. I lasted an hour and 10 minutes. I asked people, if they threw in money, I would go longer. We ended up raising $330 total for comic books kids, which was awesome because $25 is 1 box to a hospital or a cancer center. So we raised, 6.5 boxes, or no, it was more than that. So 12, 13, so 13 boxes. Sorry, my math's off tonight. So we raised enough for 13 boxes to go to a hospital, which is absolutely awesome. So Nita was talking about, hey, we should do a challenge together. And I said, what do you want to do? And she said, the toe of Satan. And then I slacked off and waited to order it. And then this place I ordered it from is taking forever to get here, but it should be here this week. So we're going to do another challenge. And what it's going to be is the more money that we raise during the event, the longer we're going to sit there and try to take it and see who can last the longest. But it's just a lot of great fun just to see us suffer.
5 minutes is death on that thing, right?
5 minutes is death. So
5 minutes is painful.
Yeah, it is painful. So 3 years ago, I found Hooked on Comics. I got into comic book collecting again, and Hooked on Comics did a Saturday auction every week for comic books for kids. And I was like, oh, what's this all about? And they said, well, they send comic books, coloring books to hospitals and cancer centers nationwide, and they hand them out to the kids. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is my way to give back, because it's something I like to do. When I benefit from something, I try to give back tenfold. So I started donating $20, $30, $40 every week, whatever I could spare. And so fast forward last year when I ran Xenonanite Titan the fall before the Rise on Kickstarter in November, I got with Steph Wilson and I said, hey, I want to help out CB4K and raise some money for him. Let's do a t-shirt. So he did a t-shirt of me as Xenonanite Titan reading a book to Roderick after an open heart surgery with Sissy at the end of the bed with the get well balloon. And so technically the money went to CB4K, but Kickstarter didn't know that the money was going to CB4K. But anyway, the Kickstarter failed. Mark had been looking for, he's the owner and creator of CB4K, was looking for somebody to do t-shirts for him. And he had been reaching out and emailing and calling, and nobody would answer him back. And lo and behold, the first thing he sees when he gets on Facebook is the Xenonanite Titan, I'm a Titan for CB4K t-shirt. And so his daughter sends me a message and says, how would you like to be the official, or she sends me a message and says, Mark wants to talk to you. And I was like, oh, great, I'm in trouble. I didn't ask for permission. I call Mark, and Mark's like, Russ. I'm like, what's up, man? Like, a long time no see. I haven't seen you since C2E2 because I met him in 2019 at C2E2. And he's like, how would you like to be the official t-shirt supplier for CB4K? And I was like, really? He's like, dude, I love what you did with the shirt. I've been asking around for it. Nobody's gotten back to me. Do you think you could get a few more designs? And I said, absolutely. So over the December, January, and March, I got a piece done by Wendy Steen Shaner in April with Grady Reyna. And I launched the shop in April. We got a contract put together, and I launched the shop in April. And since then, we've had the Rodney Fike shirt on with Pitter Patter. You got Buddy and Dude reading a comic book to a kid in a hospital bed. And we added the Mark CB4K. So technically, it's an Iron Man symbol with the CB4K stuff. But Mark does run CB4K. And so it's the Mark CB4K instead of the Mark IV or the Mark 42. So everybody gets the idea. But all proceeds from these t-shirts goes to CB4K. Then we took it one step further, and he said, "How would you like to auction stuff off on behalf of CB4K?" And I said, "Absolutely." So now I have Russ Explode Studios charity auctions for CB4K, and what I auction off on there is I've got art. This is something that's going to be added this month. We've got this piece here by Thomas
Oh, very
Fleming. It's
cool.
269 out of
That is
600.
nice.
It's
I
absolutely
love
beautiful.
skulls.
Meredith, have you told him?
No, I have not.
Oh, you
No, she
haven't?
hasn't told me yet, but I'd seen that you guys had something coming up, and I'm excited to hear about it. And then
Yes,
we've got this
yes.
Lady Death
Oh,
piece
nice.
here,
Lady Death. Oh,
with,
that's gorgeous.
and it's got the COA in the back tucked away. I also got Lily the Demoness, Eating a Slice of Pizza by CB Zane has been added. So I have over 40 items that are on there now. I need to go on and redo it for November. I've just been so busy. I ended up in the hospital a few weeks ago because my pain went to like a 20, and my blood pressure was almost in the 300s. And so they gave me
Not good,
Valium and
Russell.
Dilaudid and Toradol, and then sent me home. And I slept for 2 days straight.
Jeez.
So
Oh my God.
things have been crazy. And then I got the Kickstarter going on, and then I've got the stuff I'm trying to do with, getting book 2 situated, getting art and stuff done. And I feel bad, but things really haven't
You've
been
got a
moving. The
lot
stuff
on your
that's on there,
plate, dude. You've got a lot on your plate.
I do have a lot on my plate. So to add more to my plate, I got an announcement to make too, and then I'm so excited to hear you guys. So I put it out there tonight that I was looking for an interior artist. I am writing a 12-page comic book. What I'm going to do is we're going to do really nice cardstock cover with the thicker interior pages with the gloss. They're going to be a limited edition. They're going to be numbered to 100. Those books are going to sell for $30 ship. They're $25 plus $5 for shipping. I'm going to throw them in a Gemini, make sure they're safe, and send them out to you guys. I actually had another artist reach out that's going to do a print piece, so you guys will get that as a mini print as well to go with it. So the
Wow.
money that I make off of that, you figure I sell 100 books, I get $2,500. I looked into it to make 1,000 base copies of just a paper cover with standard paper insides is $2,100. It was like $2,098.56. So I was like, that's awesome. If we sell 100 of these books, we're gonna raise $2,500. I can print 1,000 copies, have $400 left over, and I can send those 1,000 copies to Mark as well as the $400 to cover the shipping for them to ship all those books out to hospitals nationwide. And so I put that out there. Rodney Fike took on the project. He's going to be doing the interiors.
Very
I'm
cool.
excited to announce that we have a cover artist, we have a interior artist, and we have Chuck Pino, who also offered his services as an editor. So thank you so much to him for doing that. And I'm going to offer up the interior back cover and the exterior back cover for 2 ad spaces. It'll be $150 for the interior because of course it won't be shown until you open it up, and then $250 for the back because everyone will see the back of it. So you're going to have your ad in 1,000 copies that are going to be distributed to hospitals and cancer centers nationwide, and you will have it for the 100 people that back the other copies. And then the interior artist and the cover artist, I'm going to have 10 hollow foil comps made up for each one of them. They're going to be numbered with an AP. You'll have Steph Wilson, which will be SW 1 through 10. And then you will have RF for Rodney Fike 1 through 10. So you guys will have a chance to snag those as well. So technically there will be 1,120 copies of this comic book that will be distributed. So if you guys have a comic shop or you guys have a project that you want to shout out, please hit me up, and you can pay for one of these ad spaces. That $400 as well will go with the other $400 and be sent over to help them ship more stuff out. So I'm really excited about this. Steph, Carrie, and I sat around for probably 2 hours and talked about this while we were up there last weekend, and we're going to do it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep, and this is the announcement that you made on Facebook that we're sharing on the screen. So yeah, I mean, really, really good stuff. And so while we're sharing stuff, we're going to bring up your campaign too, because we're just about at our hour mark. We're probably going to go a little bit over. Nita, you're going to have to forgive me for a lot of things today, I guess. But here we go. Let's pull that up on the screen too. And yeah, so we were just talking about Stefpool Circle of Destruction. We've got the comic book for kids, charitable organization, lots of stuff happening over there. Russell, I mean, you are just so busy, and I guess I love being busy. It just it takes my mind off of other things that I don't necessarily need to worry about, and just keep going. The idea
Well,
is
and that's
just
a lot of
forward
my
moving
thing right now.
momentum.
Yeah, that's a lot of my thing right now. I got a lot of stuff going on in my life. With the cancer stuff, I did find out March this year that I am cancer free.
Awesome.
I do have severe spinal injuries from the accident last year, which I'm going to be going in for surgery probably, hopefully soon. And then my wife and kids were hit by a drunk driver on July 18th of this year. I
Yeah,
was
that
3
was really
hours away in
scary.
Jeff City.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I just try to keep my mind busy. We've got so much negative stuff in the world out there, and I keep myself busy trying to spread positivity. That's what the podcast is about. This game's about sitting down with your friends, having fun, joking around, and not giving a fuck. I mean, that's what it's all about. You could have the worst day in the world, and you get home, and it's like, all right, just let it all loose, have some fun, and woosah, woosah, just have fun and break down. That's what this game's for. You guys pick it up, enjoy it. There's the safe for work version, the not safe for work version. You can get both. And if you missed out on Xenonanite Titan, it is available as an add-on. And I also added some lower tiers. There's a fun sticker pack. Like one of the stickers is Pink Taco, eating out never tasted so good. And then there's the one that says here's these. Those are the Stefpool stickers. So it's we're supposed to do art on the art show. Don't look in the comments. Stuff that Steph says. And then I got the Hulk making fun of him because he ate his crawlers. And then there's the fun ones. I'm gonna crumb. Don't fear the reefer. Lick me, fuck me. And then I serve good head. I tell you what, we printed these out and we cut them out. We took them to the local market. These things sold like hotcakes. We had them for $3 a piece. We almost sold out of all of them.
Oh
So
my
you guys are getting a
goodness.
steal for $20 on these because we normally sell them for $3. They're pretty good size stickers. The fishing saved me from being a porn star. Now I'm just a hooker. It's a
Oh my
3-inch sticker.
goodness.
It's not a small one.
Have you thought about making magnets out of these too?
Yeah, we've thought about making magnets. We were thinking about turning them to them, but I don't know. A lot of people have kids. I don't know if they want these hanging on their fridge. But hey, you know what? I'll add it on there. We'll look into it. We can add it on. We got 7 days left. If somebody wants freaking magnets, I will add freaking magnets. Window clings. Hell, you can put them on your car.
Yeah, right.
And then, of course, you got the double pack.
Some of us
You can
have
get
grown
both
kids,
stickers.
okay? We don't care what's on our fridge.
Okay, yeah. Hey, that works.
So we've got the base game here, 130 cards and all stretch goals. So the regular Stefpool Circle of Destruction. We've got the not safe for work version and all
No,
unlocked.
actually, it's the not Stefpool for work version.
not. Oh, is that okay? And then you can get both versions. I don't know. Have you thought about like mixing so when you get this, you mix the deck and it's just just for the adults, of course, or the
Well, and see, that's the thing. If you buy both sets, you can expand it up to 12 players because it's for 2 to 6 players. And if you mix them up, so say you get the base and the not safe for work, the cards aren't the same. So you have the blast cards in the regular, you got the anal bleaching in the not safe for work edition. Like you got the butt plug launcher in the not safe for work, and then it's just a rocket launcher in the safe for work. So you could totally mix the decks together and do up to 12 people.
Now, what do you mean here by metal and base game?
So you get there is a metal edition. I did a limited metal run. You can only get 5 of those.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's 5 of the metal and they're of the safer work and 5 of the metal not safe for work editions. And then there's the 5 of the fit for a king edition, which is later on. It's both base versions and both metal versions.
Okay.
So that's the fit for a king there. Those were 2 of those went right away. So somebody loves the metal, and you can totally play with the metal cards. These are going to be sublimated. They're gas sublimation. So just to explain that real quick to people, a lot of people think of printed on metal. When you shuffle them, it's going to rub off. These are gas sublimated. So the ink is actually infused into the metal. Yes, they will wear out over time, but you can actually play with these metal cards if you want to. Or you can keep
If
them
you
as
want
a
to.
souvenir of my
Mhm.
crazy stupidity that will be printed on metal forever. It will not biodegrade.
Very cool. Yeah, so we're kind of going through the campaign so you guys know what to expect. But if you're watching, you can get over to the show notes and take a look. We've got the link to the campaign. This ends on Monday.
Yeah, I
Yes?
believe it's at 7 days. So yeah, I believe it ends on Monday, probably at 8. I don't know. It started at 8:30, but we had daylight savings time. So it'll
Mhm.
probably end at 7:30 on Monday.
Yeah. And then, of course, we have the Xenonanite Titan here available. Now, so is this a tier? Is this an add-on? Both?
It's just an add-on.
Okay.
I didn't add it on as a tier on there.
Yeah, we don't want to confuse everybody.
No, I
And
mean
then, of
they can get
course,
some
you got the
stickers and add on the
chibi
book.
enamels. These are adorable.
Yeah, and actually that's one of the #1 hit sellers. Like all the kids and some of the adults absolutely love enamel pens at the market.
Mhm.
I think I'm up to 10 now. They are individually numbered and they are all numbered. So you are buying a numbered set and they're limited to 100. So once they're gone, they're gone.
Cool. So, while we're kind of scrolling through here, and we'll get back to the top here, we got Brink and Fetch here, and I recognize
Yeah, we're
Steph
working on
Wilson.
this stretch goal right here, folks. We need 9 more backers to unlock this for the physical backers. The physical backers will get this. You have Steph Wilson's Art of Brink and Fetch, and you got Stefpool getting a handful of ass and the
Mhm.
Brink and Fetch logo.
And of course, we've
And
got the
then
stickers.
Roadkill Rampage funded at $3,250 with like 93 backers. So any of the backers that have backed Roadkill Rampage that haven't backed this yet, you will receive this cute little The Child sticker that I drew and colored. And you'll also receive a sticker pack of Roadkill Rampage of some Roadkill. So you can just like stick it on somebody's stuff and they'll be like, what the hell?
What the hell is
And
this?
there is
I
the
love
glorious Stefpool pointing at Phil's face saying, now that's a tragedy. I just, that was just a random thought. Like, I wasn't even thinking about anything driving down the road, and that just popped in my head. And
Oh
I
my
think Phil
gosh.
died laughing.
Well, we had a great conversation with Phil Russert not too long ago. So, because he's got a campaign that's going on right now. And here we go.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you back Tragedy and Stefpool Circle of Destruction, you will get that pen that she just showed. Now that's a tragedy. Now this
Mhm.
VRXOXO pen, this is one of the characters from VRXOXO. You will get this special edition card included in your stretch goals if you back Codex Entertainment LLC's VRXOXO, which is only has it was 30 hours like 4 hours ago. So I want to say there's 26 hours left on the campaign. So check out VRXOXO if you back that campaign or you've already backed that campaign and you back mine. You will get that card included in your stretch goals.
Very cool. So here we are with the Stefpool Circle of Destruction card game. You can have the Safe for Work and the not Stefpool for Work or something.
Yeah, I
A
thought that
lot
was
of fun.
hilarious because I'm like, oh, it's not safe for work and it's Stefpool, so it could be not Stefpool for work. You know,
Not
that's just me,
Stefpool
my
for Work.
creative brain.
So a lot of stuff going on, and you said that you have a couple of slots left open for IPs. So how would they contact you if they are interested, and what's all involved
They
with
can
that?
add me as a friend. They can message me directly, or they can go to Russ Explode Studios Books with Heart and follow the page and send me a message directly on my business page. And I have no problems. I mean, I had a creator that was scared to ask me that asked one of my friends if they thought that I would include them. And they're
Mhm.
like, you're ridiculous. He would absolutely include you in his game. I'm not going to turn away anyone. I don't care if you have credit or not. This has nothing to do with clout of creators and
Mhm.
trying to get people to back it. This is to do with the underdogs. Any of the people out there that have a great project that people normally wouldn't see, like Belial, like Greed, Naughty Fairies, Codex Entertainment. He's got Lily the Demoness. We've got a bunch of cards I'm doing with him. You know, the Nebulizer, the new project from Brian Rodman. We've got Savage Sasquatch going to be in here. We have a shit ton of great creators, and this is about sharing their work and everyone having fun. Because if you think about it, you know, you have 5 friends over, you play the game, they're going to see it. You have another 5 friends over, they're going to see it. or even a random backer that buys this that knows none of the creators, they're going to get introduced to a whole new world of awesome creativity. And they all will have the links at the bottom of the card, which I just did those cards. I did the mock-ups for those, and I haven't posted them on there because I've been super busy. But here's the mock-up for, is this it? No, that's not it. Here it is, right here. So this is Link's Revenge here. So you've got next player loses their turn due to be trapped in the outhouse. They really stepped in crap this time. So that's a Safe for Work edition. And you got the link right there, the InstaInkComics.com. And then you have the not safe for work, the glory hole shitter of doom.
Oh my god!
Which I'm going to change the text color on there because obviously you can't print white on a white card. But
right.
So the quote, the best quote for this game is it's shitty art, witty humor, have fun with your friends, and share those creators out and have fun. Most of all, have fun.
Totally. And since you're hoping that they will be delivered around March and stuff like that, that is a great way to gift people and maybe play it when you're out camping or hanging out with your friends.
Absolutely.
And stuff like that. Yeah, totally.
And the sticker packs, anybody that just wants to go in and back a sticker pack, if you just want to show some support for the campaign, help raise the funds a little bit, those will be shipping pretty much immediately. We make those stickers here. We print them, we cut them out with the Cricut, and I will get those in an envelope, and so you guys will have them by January. And the only reason why I said January is I could send them priority mail, and you still might not get it for 3 months because our mail system's the most wonderful in the world. But they will ship immediately, and I will ship them with tracking, even though it's just an envelope of stickers. I like to make sure you guys get your stuff.
Yeah. Well, let's stop the screen here because we have blown past our hour, Russell Allen.
Oh my gosh, how dare he?
I know.
That asshole. Fire him. Like, just kick him out. Don't ever let him back.
Like,
I mean,
this is just another reason for Nita to yell at me afterwards. But we do have to get out of here, you guys. It has been a pleasure. Xenonanite Titan is an add-on. Get over to Stefpool Circle of Destruction. Give that some love. It's going to a good cause. Check out what Russell Allen is doing. We're going to be talking to him in the after show privately because we've got some cool stuff that we want to present to. So on that note, you guys, it has been a pleasure. Make sure that you check out those campaigns. We shared them out here on YouTube. For Russell Allen, we've got his social media links. Visit him. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Okay, he does some great shows. He has a lot of fun and some great guests. He's doing a lot of good stuff. Give him some love and support. If you backed it, great. Thank you. If you haven't and you can't back it, that's fine. Hit the share button. Hit the button, you guys. We need you to help spread the word. It's a lot of fun. And Russell, it was such a good time today. As
thank
always.
you so much for having me on. I'm glad I was able to make you guys laugh and relieve some of that stress of the day.
Oh my goodness.
It's always a good time. That's what it's all about, having fun. So thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it very much.
And on that note, Russell, you have to do me a favor.
What's that?
You have to say, throw my dudes.
Throw my dudes?
Yeah. You want to do it with a little more gusto, or you want Stefpool to
throw my dudes?
That's right. All right. We're out of here, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. We're out. Hey there. This is Meredith Loughran with RAGIN. And I wanted to let you know that we encourage and promote independent creators and their projects through organic interaction, consultations, and more. Visit Nita and me at RAGINAVC.com for details and contact information. Hit the button.